Community-delivered services. Innovations with peers.
In this series, you have heard about community-delivered services from a variety of angles. This video features a substance abuse treatment provider, Odyssey House, for a fresh look at these services. Traditionally, drug treatment has been site-based. OASAS developed a reimbursement option in community services that allows outpatient treatment providers to deliver services in the community. In combination with HCBS, drug treatment providers now have new ways to deliver services outside the walls of a clinic. Odyssey House offers outpatient care both through a regular Article 822 outpatient clinic and HCBS. HCBS services are always delivered in the community, and Odyssey House has tapped into in-community service reimbursement to extend the reach of their program to better serve clients. Peers play a key role in both programs, especially when it comes to services delivered in the community. Mary Callahan, Odyssey House's Senior Director of Outpatient Services, talked to us about their program. We asked her first to tell us about the different kinds of settings in which peers engage with clients.
A lot of our peer work is advocacy and housing court, and also in various kind of other court systems that the clients may be involved with. The judges let the person know, hey, you have somebody standing up for you. If I'm giving you like a reprieve this time, then you really need to follow through. So it's helped in that respect also. It could be in setting like agencies that support child visits for ACS in any of those agencies. We are alerted when the person is seen in the ED. Sometimes if the situation has warranted it, we've sent the peer right to the emergency room.
Clearly, this model is very different from traditional drug treatment that usually takes place in a clinic or treatment facility.
There was somebody else recently who just gets uncomfortable every time he needs to go to the doctor for his lot of specialist testing and various things, and he gets anxious. So the peer goes with him and helps him sort his thoughts out before he goes, then maybe jumps in if he needs to at the doctor's visit. Today he went with somebody to help him pay his rent. He wasn't comfortable with that process, so that's what he did with that particular client. This particular client, they also worked in an exercise program, so a lot of the visits happened walking around the circular track that was near her house, processing and discussing information, and also getting healthier. So she actually blocked the phone from the counselor and from the peer. But then the peer's like, but you know what? She's always walking up and down the avenue on the day right after when benefits are, so I'm going to find her there. So that's what his plan is. His plan is to catch her on the avenue. The only time we do a surprise visit to somebody is if continued outreach we haven't been able to contact them and they are falling like the high risk category, so an opioid patient or someone like that, then we'll go knock right on their door. And sometimes they just don't answer the door. We might know they're there, they don't answer the door. Sometimes they answer the door and it's been successful. They come back. That happens too. We offer them the services right at intake, and we have a special consent that we created so that the client understands that this is like a formalized service. So right away the conversation is starting. Pretty much all the clients will meet the peer at some point during their intake process for engagement purposes, because that increases the chance of the person engaging. But additionally, if the client is refusing, they say, I don't want anything to do with peer services. We say, we just request that you at least sign the consent so that if for some reason you're disengaged with treatment, so something happens and you can't get here, maybe we're worried about you, we want your permission to be able to go and see if we can meet you at your house or something like that. So I would say that we pretty much are 99 to 100% having clients that are coming into assessment signing the peer consent. So that's where the conversation starts. So the training would be like reminders about safety. We also do an overview of confidentiality and what it means. So I don't think you always could have something happen, but they're aware that they're not supposed to blurt out somebody's like personal information or about treatment or anything like that in whatever environment that they're in. So we cover all those basics with them in training. Yes, there's formal training for anybody who goes into the field. We never send somebody on their own to their first visit, for example. We won't do that. They're a team, so it will be like a counselor and the peers would be paired as a team, not like a supervision.
She explained that currently, her peers typically spend about 1.5 days in the field each week, and appointments are scheduled geographically to make the most use of time. She also said that sometimes a peer needs to spend more time than what is possible from a reimbursement perspective with the client.
I'm not going to take my peer away. If he has to sit in court and it's 2 hours and we can only bill for an hour, I'm going to let him sit in court for 2 hours because we need to do that for the patient. If they are not able to achieve all the documentation requirements quite in time for when we close out the billing for the month, we actually have been giving them a little bit of overtime just to come in and do it. So our peers started out, we expected like 60 services from him per month, but now he can do anywhere from 100 to 120 services per month. The value that the peer gives back in terms of retention of a client in a program or completing a program, he more than makes his salary up in that way.
And more importantly, they are keeping vulnerable clients engaged and active in their recovery.